Have you ever had a moment where you look at a designer's work, your brain pauses, quietly packs its bags, and it's like, yes, we live like this now? Because that's something that happens to me constantly. I'll be scrolling, minding my own business, and then suddenly I'm rearranging my entire creative worldview just because someone paired two typefaces that I had never seen done before. Today, I want to take you through designer movements that have shaped me. Not just inspired, okay? Shaped me. Left fingerprints all over my style. Designers' work that sits on my shoulders like tiny artistic advisors, whispering little things like, try this grid, but make it more dramatic. So grab your drink of choice, get comfy, and let's unpack the creative DNA that is behind my work. People ask me all the time, Candice, where do you get your ideas? And the honest answer is everywhere. Menus, street posters, packaging, someone's poorly spaced billboard, just random stuff that I'll stare at for way too long. Designers never really turn off. Our brains are just constantly scanning for patterns and colors, and that one piece of typography that whispers, brilliant. But here's the thing. I've learned more and more over the years. Your inspirations shape your styles, and developing my own personal style as a graphic designer isn't just a cute side quest. It is essential. I talk about this more in depth in my other video, about how building your style is actually about collecting influences, questioning them, remixing them, eventually arriving at something that feels like you, your signature, your voice, the visual language that separates you from every other designer out there. And that is exactly why I want to make this video today and go through my influences. Because designers and movements aren't just things that I admire. They are the things that I saw and actively molded the way I think about composition, colors, storytelling, design fundamentals. Those are all just tools, but it's about the way that you use them. And some of the people who influenced me are legends who shaped eras. And some of them, they're modern creators that just dropped gems on Instagram. And together, they all make up the creative ecosystem that is living in my brain. So let's dive into the inspirations that are the backbone of my style, starting with the legend himself. Milton Glaser is one of those designers that the more that you study his work, the more you understand the soul behind design. He is not just visually talented, he is philosophical. All his work is very thoughtful. He approaches communication in almost a poetic way. Everyone knows I Heart NY, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. What shaped me the most is how he blends clarity and emotion without sacrificing functionality. Every choice that he made in his design work served a purpose, not to impress other designers, but to speak to people, real people. When I worked as a graphic designer in Malaysia, juggling everything from event posters to bigger marketing pieces, that type of mindset really grounded me. It reminded me that design isn't just about proving how artsy you are. It is about serving the community, helping people do things like navigate a space, feel excited about a big event, or understand information more easily. And I think that's why Glaser resonates so deeply with me. My own style, it loves personality. Bold colors, structured layouts, warm storytelling. But me personally, I'm also someone who values accessibility and clarity. He reminds me that being a great designer is about balancing both. If you see any bold, friendly shapes or color choices in my design work, the chances are that Glaser was responsible for that. Let's talk Bauhaus, the moment in history where designers said, okay, this is enough, let's clean up. Bauhaus changed everything. It introduced the idea that beauty comes from function, not ornamentation. It taught us that good design isn't clutter. It is clarity, geometry, rhythm, intention. And this philosophy, it absolutely shaped the way that I use grids, how I think about hierarchy, how I simplify ideas without losing meaning. And honestly, it really saved me from myself when I start over-decorating like it's a Christmas tree. What I especially appreciate is how Bauhaus treated design like architecture. Something that's engineered, something that's structured, almost kind of mathematical. It is 100% the reason I love sharp, crisp lines, modular systems, and layouts that feel like they could stand on their own if gravity ever disappeared. Whenever I open InDesign and I start playing with columns and gutters, I could feel it. I just feel the Bauhaus ancestors nodding at me in approval. And this account, it's like caffeine for my typography brain. You are typography. Every post is like a little jolt of creativity chaos. But I mean that in the best way. What I love the most is how experimental they are. They twist the type, they distort it, they stretch it, they break it. It's very fun. It's like more than just letters on a page. This account is 100% the reason that I made my own typeface. It made me realize that typography, it could tell a story all on its own. Even before you read the words, you could feel them. And that right there is why Diamond Typeface exists. Because I myself, Candice Bobchak, wanted to explore typography as an identity rather than just a tool. When I see their posts pop up on my feed, it reminds me. Typography, it's kind of like this living, breathing material. It can be weird, it can be playful, it could be dramatic. And some of the weirdest decisions end up being like the most iconic. They're just like my little reminder to loosen up and explore. Designed by Hyde. If energy had a design style, it would look like their feed. Designed by Hyde, to me, it's all about confidence. Big colors, really bold contrast. Compositions that just hit you like a visual exclamation mark. Their design showed me what make it pop really means. And not in a gimmicky way. It's in a way that grabs your attention without sacrificing structure. And that little nugget, it's especially useful when I'm designing things like posters. Something that needs to communicate across the hallway 20 feet away. And also from them, I learned how to push saturation, how to explore with things like playing with dynamic shapes, like doing things that feel powerful rather than stiff. The voice on that account, it's like you could go bolder. No, actually bolder than that. Jessica Walsh. Jessica Walsh is the force of nature. Every time that she creates something, it feels like she's opening a door to her mind. Colorful, emotional, maximal, bold. She taught me that design, it could be an expression like art. It could be something that's deeply personal. Storytelling, it doesn't just belong in filmmaking or illustration. It could live in graphic design too. To me, her work, it really embraces vulnerability. And that's something that I now really enjoy bringing to my own creative process. Whether I'm here talking about my journey in design, sharing my art, or playing with concepts like emotion and identity in my vlogs, she reminds me that authenticity is a design tool. And she also represents something very meaningful to me. Women craving a space in this industry. She refuses to shrink her work. Her presence, it balances this list with power and perspective. If you ever see me designing something emotional or that really brings the drama, blame Jessica Walsh. Okay guys, so these are the designers and the design movements that are the backbone of my creative world. They are the voices in my head in the best possible way. They influence how I think, how I communicate my ideas, how I approach things like color hierarchy and storytelling. Honestly, pretty much everything. And the reason I wanted to share them with you today is because this is what developing personal style actually looks like. It's not about just picking one influence and declaring, yes, this is my entire personality now. It's about collecting little pieces. Structure from one place, emotion from another, a little chaos, maybe a little softness there, and letting it just all mix together that turns into something that is uniquely yours, which loops right back to what I was talking about in my previous video. Style isn't just a destination. It is a process and it grows as you grow. It's something that changes as you change, and it builds yourself from the visual experiences that you feed it. So if you want to start building your style more intentionally, I will link that video. And hey, I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more just like this. I make videos every single week. But that's all I have for you right now. I'll see you next time. Bye.